Hi, I'm JD, and you're watching New York Creative.
5, 4,
3, 2, 1.
I just completed my first film in 2004, Closure. It's called Closure. It's a short film, and it's a comedy about a woman on 10 dates and the bizarre things that the dates say to her. Closure is a true story. All of the statements made in Closure were actually made to me by exes, and I felt passionate about it. I had a story that I wanted to share with the world, and so I did. I produced it, I directed it, and I wrote it. Closure's screened at 13 film festivals throughout the United States, plus London. The Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival, and this is their 20th year. 2005 is their 20th year of doing it. So this festival is a big deal in Fort Lauderdale, and it's the oldest festival that my film is screened in. Very oldest meaning well established. Fort Lauderdale was great. Actually, I have a funny story to say about what happened in Fort Lauderdale. My film screened on a Saturday afternoon at 3:30. And that was supposed to be it. And of course, at festivals, there are all other functions and events to attend. Well, anyway, I had attended other screenings. I was there for the weekend, and I attended other screenings and other functions. And the night before I left, there was a function, a cocktail party / screening that was going to happen in this ritzy section of Florida, Boca Raton. And it was held outdoors, and I was staying with two friends. So my friends and I went to this function, this cocktail party, this champagne cocktail party, and there were about 150 people there. Well, anyway, when we sat down to see the screenings, they announced that the very first film to be shown is a film called Closure, unbeknownst to me. And then they said, oh, and the filmmaker's present. JD, can you please stand up? And I had to like suppress a heart attack because I was completely unprepared for this, but it went really well. So that was an extra screening in the same festival with a larger audience than my original screening. And after I suppressed my heart attack, they went and did a full Q&A with me after that. And it was well received, and it was great. The African American Women in Cinema, which is one of very few exclusive festivals for African American female filmmakers. And when I say few, I mean there may be 3 that I know of, maybe 4. And so I qualify. I'm an African American female filmmaker, and it was definitely an honor to participate in that, because there are just so few exclusive venues for us and for our voices to be heard and for our stories to be told. So it was a good thing. I've worked on other people's projects, so the crew were people that I've worked with in the past. And as far as the cast is concerned, I ran an ad in Backstage, and I auditioned people to play in the film. I mostly paid for Closure with my credit card. Most of the expenses were paid by the credit card, but I do have a relative who did give me a little bit of cash, which helped. For obvious reasons, I can't keep personally financing these films, so I'm looking for financiers or anyone who believes in independent film and wants to donate a $10,000 gift, tax-free gift, which is the maximum that the IRS will allow you to give for the art. It came out better than I ever dreamed. The film came out better than I dreamed, and the reaction to it is more than I can imagine. When I first completed the film and started submitting it to festivals, I was whining to my friends saying, oh, I hope that somebody's going to show my film. And then here I am a year later, 13 festivals later, and it still may show a couple more times before I put it to bed. And when I say put it to bed, I mean hoping that it'll end up on cable, like, for instance, like the Independent Film Channel. Closure's my first film, but I've worked on other people's projects for about 6 years, 7 years. I've worked on a lot of low budget, no budget projects that no one's heard of and most definitely have not seen. Music videos, commercials. They may or may not have been seen, music videos and commercials. I looked at the other people that I was working with on their projects, and I just thought to myself, if they can do it, I know that I can do this. Well, of course, what Spike Lee has accomplished has been a definite influence. As a black filmmaker, he's definitely been an influence. There's another filmmaker, his name is Robert Rodriguez, and he is the director of the Spy Kids series, and more recently he did Sin City and Once Upon a Time in Mexico. He did a film called El Mariachi, which he shot in Mexico, and all of his expenses totaled up to $7,000. And the film doesn't look like it cost $7,000, but that film went on to net $2 million. Now, granted, if you shoot in Mexico, of course, all of your expenses can be cheap, but that was a huge, huge influence, on me. Left a huge impression on me, because if he could do that, a full-length feature film with just his resources, it's just the principle of it, that if he can get that accomplished, make that accomplishment, then I can too. My fantasy project would be to recreate an event that took place, a historical event that took place in the Caribbean. Because it took place in the 40s, I believe it happened, there aren't very many records that documented this particular event. It happened, as I said, in the Caribbean, on one of the islands. And if I had a big budget, I would like to, I would do research on this event and recreate it. It's an event that's similar to like how Titanic happened and was recreated on that kind of scale. And it would be challenging because it didn't take place in Western civilization society. I mean, it took place on an island, which is a third world country, and I would need money, of course, a big budget, in order to properly recreate this particular historical event. Oh, I'm a traffic reporter. I'm a traffic reporter, and I also direct local news, live news. As a traffic reporter, it's all voiceover, so I took voiceover lessons, private voiceover lessons, and I made a demo, and I submitted my demo, and they hired me. And directing the news, I was working in the studio, doing other things such as audio and robotic camera and Chiron and assistant director, and finally, years later, finally at a point where I'm directing. I've worked in television for a good 7 years now, and maybe 8 even, and television is a complete career change for me. So I started working my first job in television, as I said, 8 years ago. I just got lucky. I knew somebody. I knew somebody who got me an interview on a nationally syndicated television show. And I haven't turned back since. I've just gone from show to network, doing freelance stuff. And also, at the same time, I began producing and directing for my local public access channel, QPTV in Queens. And I was doing projects there and working on other people's projects there. So I just completely ensconced myself in all video all the time. No, definitely not, because there's no, I don't want to say there's no money involved. It's cost me to do what I've done with closure and to continue to show it and screen it. I want to say that it goes beyond job satisfaction. I feel that I get excited doing what I do. When I'm on set, especially making closure, it's just a thrill, the thrill of it all. And that keeps me, it just makes me happy doing what I do. And I just feel that as a happy person that I'm just a benefit to society and for people around me. Because there's a lot of unhappy people walking around this planet.